if I might, the takeover of HISD was wrong. Part of the problem is that HISD, among all other school districts, has the highest number of special needs children. Those special needs children are mainstream, and that's part of the reason why their testing reflected as it was. In addition, we had a good superintendent, and another one before that, and board members who were turning their attention to investing in our children. It was the wrong thing to do, and any leadership in the state legislature would have gotten to Mike Morantz. I went to Mike Morantz. I traveled from Washington to meet with him to indicate that there are better ways. And it would have been, I might say, successful because I did get the extension to the pandemic. Let's talk to them during that time. But we needed help. We didn't get help. But we're getting help now because I'm still working with the federal government to be able to assess whether our children are being taught properly, because they are our problem.
Now, another question from a student. This time it's TSU student Jose Reyes, who has a question about students who may need some extra assistance to be able to succeed. Jose?
Mayor, what specific city-level policies will you introduce to support the neighborhoods associated with the schools that led to TCA's takeover of HISD?
Senator Whitmire?
I think we just addressed that, but thank you for your question. As I said a moment ago, how HISD goes is how the city of Houston goes. Neighborhood schools are critical. But we cannot politicize HISD's challenges. It's wrong. It harms the children. Calling people names, protesting, refusing to meet with the superintendent as our local elected officials are practicing is just wrong. What we have to do is bring people together. The delegation, a bipartisan delegation, our current mayor voted with me for a process to be followed. We need to get TEA out of Houston as soon as they have stabilized things. We need to have transparency at HISD. I will repeat, the FBI was going in and out of the administration building. We cannot have that when the public is depending on us. The dollars are too valuable to waste. So let's come together. I've opposed vouchers recently in Austin. We need to support public education, including HISD.
I love your question. The FBI was not going in and out of school classrooms. Teachers were teaching, principals were leading, and parents were feeling good about their children. As mayor, I would carry the bully pulpit and have resources to ensure that those neighborhoods and those neighborhood schools, one, are safe and that they have the resources. Over the years serving as a public official, I have reached out to corporate Houston to be able to provide unique resources to some of our schools. That money would be above tax money, so that if there were needs for special needs children, if there were needs for art, just as a corporation through my inquiry gave $1 million to a school district to help them with reading. I believe you can find many different resources to help our schools. And clearly, I think to set the record straight, none of these elected officials are running for mayor that allegedly voted for the takeover. So it's only one person sitting here who voted for the takeover and had the power to engage with the governor, to engage with the head of TEA, to be able to say, let's put a suspension or pause on it. We don't have that now. I will work very hard with educational experts to get HISD out of the takeover as quickly as possible and really put our children forward and how we teach them, how they learn, with resources that I hope to secure from the private sector. Thank you.
Senator Whitmire, do you have a rebuttal? Let me move on to the next question.
No, I think our school children are our most valuable asset, our resource. A day wasted with a dysfunctional district is doing harm to our children. I want to work with the current HISD leadership, do everything I can to bring people together to make a difference. It's non-debatable that they had special needs were not being met, test scores were poor, and yes, the credibility of HISD was questioned because of the FBI involvement with the administrators. Monies were being wasted, if not stolen.
Well, this next question comes from Courtney Gauss, who is a student here at TSU, and it involves housing. So what specific initiatives do you propose to address the growing issue of affordable housing in the city of Houston? And how do you plan to collaborate with the private sector, community organizations, and residents to ensure the success and inclusivity of that initiative, of those initiatives? Let's go first to Senator Whitmire.
Sure, excellent question, and affordability is critical to Houstonians, certainly even students. Obviously, it starts at the top. You've got to make this a priority. You've got to have a housing authority director that understands what his mission is. And it's not to help people make money through conflicts of interest. It's reprehensible that the city's allowing a housing project to go forward next to a super site location at Jensen and Navigation. Permitting, just the city bureaucracy is rising the costs of affordable housing. Home builders will not work inside the city of Houston because they can't get a permit. The real goal on affordable housing should be home ownership. The city ought to subsidize down payments using federal funding to assist them in making a down payment and making their monthly payments. Some of the monthly payments would be the equivalent of what they're paying for rent now. Also involve the State Land Commission.
This is something that touches the hearts and minds of so many at all economic levels. Housing is crucial. And I think the bullet pulpit has to be used for several lifeline concerns in this city. Housing is a lifeline. People who are unhoused, who are right out on the freeway right now, need to be rescued. So my goal will be one, to work with the Coalition for the Homeless and the collaborative that has been set up and still going, and strengthen it, again, federal funds, but more importantly, to be out on the street, to be able to discern how many homeless people we have. Then as it relates to the student, to find ways to collaborate again, to build small units of housing in neighborhoods, 20 units, etc., so they're at an affordable level. I want to work with our apartment owners so that they can get a handle on these rents, so that Section 8 vouchers and others can pay the rent without getting to the level of eviction. I want home ownership. There's a program called NACA where you can work with the federal government and banks to get dollars for down payment for people to get in single-family homes. I want to say to everyone in Houston, you deserve a home, and your mayor can be the best leader to help you get that home. I will fight to ensure that you have dollars, and with the General Land Office, which I have worked with before, the commissioner, I'll make sure that commissioner takes those dollars and invests in the citizens whose dollars they belong in, and build, baby, build more housing for those who need it.
Congressman, on that same topic, this next question is specifically for you. You've consistently touted, including several times tonight, your ability to drive federal funding to Houston. Namely, in February, you announced $2 million towards healthcare and housing equity research through initiatives here at TSU. But what plans do you have to address these issues absent any federal money? Where else do you get the funds?
Well, let me be straightforward. There's no city in America that operates without federal dollars. You can't cut the spigot off. You just need to make sure you're right there to get it. Now, I think the important points that I've made is to increase economic development through a major recruitment of relocation of companies, such as when I was at a transportation symposium at the end of the session, because I was the only one that spoke about new technology and AI. The business owner waited for me and indicated, my company is in Silicon Valley. We're moving to Houston. Thank you for giving me the comfort that you know about these issues. So I believe, I guess I'm confident that Houston is attractive enough to bring new businesses. And I believe that we should engage with our state. Unbelievable rainy day fund, unbelievable dollars that they have through the federal government in housing, to work with them for Houston to get its fair share. So there's many resources that we can utilize to get our fair share, but there's no city, county, state in this country that doesn't get some form of federal dollars, because that's our job, to push those dollars into this particular jurisdiction.
I respect the Congresswoman's interest in getting money back to Houston from the federal government. It is our monies that we've sent up there. But I'd like to give recognition to Representative Sylvia Garcia, Albreen, Izzy Fletcher, Crenshaw. This is a delegation effort to bring money back to Houston, Harris County, and I think they deserve recognition for the support they've done for their city. And we've got to be concerned about next year's election. Who will be running Congress to give us those federal funds? So there's a lot of, someone taught me a long time ago, Bob Bullock, who to the governor, it's amazing what you can get done if you don't worry about who's going to get the credit. And that's what we'll continue to practice. We just want to get things done, but we certainly want to recognize the entire delegation, very diverse, capable delegation.
The student question right now. Some have described Houston as a city of the haves and have-nots. So TSU student Marcus Rue has a question about that. This is specifically regarding the environment. Marcus?
It has been well documented that air quality in certain neighborhoods has been poor, mainly because of industry work, concrete batch plants, rail yards, even industry warehouses, all has documented to enhance poor air quality. What is your strategy for enhancing air quality within the urban communities in the city of Houston?
And this question goes first to Senator Whitmire.
Thank you. That's a very serious question and one that I've worked with for years. We blocked a batch plant in Acres Home. Very seldom can you block them, but through experience and contacts in Austin, we blocked them fighting a landfill in Carbondale as we talk. We just got to recognize that Houston is moving in the direction of the haves and have-nots. I have neighborhoods like Denver Harbor that want their first sidewalk, just their first sidewalk and some lighting. Then I go over toward the Heights, and they're tearing up 3-foot sidewalks to put in 8-foot sidewalks. So the equity of neighborhood conditions doesn't exist. Illegal dumping, one of the items that got me in this race, is in our low-income neighborhoods. You wouldn't have ditches full of debris and brush and items in some of our nicer neighborhoods. So I'm proud to represent the minority community that needs services, air quality, keep the batch plants out of the neighborhoods, and be mindful that we're all in this together. Even if you don't live in those neighborhoods, it affects your family and your employees.
Thank you for asking the question. I'm excited to say to you that a group of air quality neighborhood organizations just received $500,000 to deal with testing air pollution in and around our neighborhoods here in Houston. Our work is collaborative, particularly in the United States Congress. But individual congresspersons can work very hard on specific issues. And so I would look forward to working with the delegation, working with the state delegation to help us have a bigger environmental footprint. And that is around the railroads, that's possibly federal. The Creosote is both federal and state. And it was the Environmental Protection Agency, initiated by my call, that got their attention for Cashmere Gardens and Fifth Ward to make a difference to clean that up. So we need to use our partners. And obviously, if you're the mayor of the city of Houston, you will encourage all of your partners and applaud all of your partners. But our real constituency are people like you. And we need to make sure that we get all the resources necessary to clean up and make sure concrete batches, particular companies don't exist. I work with Representative Johnson on that. So we're all working, but you have to have a mayor that knows how to get that done across all lines of economic opportunity. I know how to do that. I'll work with you as a voter and a citizen, and we'll make sure that we live in an environmentally safe neighborhood and city.
Could I emphasize something, sir? Thank you for that question. What we need is a can-do mayor that has follow-up. Having a press conference, walking through the community, and then leaving does not get the job done. I've challenged the city of Houston to not be spending money on relocation of individuals in Fifth Ward near the Creosote plant, at the same time they're issuing building permits. That's hypocritical, it's not good government, and what I'm known for is I don't have time to waste. I'm giving some of my best remaining years to the city of Houston. I'll work with you, We'll cut out the unnecessary involvement of communities that have deplorable conditions.
Senator Whitmire, Congresswoman Jackson Lee, thank you for taking our questions tonight. Now it's time for closing arguments.
Each of you will have 1 minute to make your closing statements, and as drawn before the program began, Senator Whitmire, you're first.